give you a little update on the Fox Body Coupe build. Kelly killed it while I was gone. We were at Drift Week and then Freedom Factory for the Crown Vic race, the La Mullets, and then I was there for Drift Week at the end. I was also in Detroit for a little while shooting with Ford with the Mach-E for SEMA, and we've just been slammed. So he got the Scotty D suspension on with our subframes, tubular. We got a Cobra rack in there. Columns done, at least in the engine bay. Just waiting on final fab work there. Waiting on our BCs, which we custom set up. This is just sitting on the struts right now, which is actually plenty of ride height. 5-lug swap is done. Kelly did all the interior removal. It needs a final prep and clean before the paint and whatnot, but it's ready for Travis Reeder to do the cage. Non-collapsible steering column of death installed, and we're gonna tie these suckers into the cage. So Travis is doing the cage in this thing. This is what off-season looks like, right?
Don't want to talk about it.
Don't want to talk about it. So we got... This fitment is really good here. Touching everywhere. The A-pillar on the Mustang has kind of a weird shape, but you can see tucked it into this little spot here. So without doing like a cheater bend here, it could never be flush against it, unfortunately. But we put the main hoop super far back. And these down bars come straight down onto the rear. Right next to the shock tower, and then we tied it into the shock tower. Later on, we might make like a little brace that goes through here if we decide to go true coilover. But the fitment is butter. Welded up in there. As you can see. Don't look at the light. He's finishing up the door bars here right now. It's like the world's longest door bars. Are you having fun?
Blast, dude.
Hey man, could be worse.
My knees hate me, bro. They're like 60 years old right now.
Dude, you need knee pads, dude.
Yeah, he does.
But yeah, I'll get a jump inside real quick now that he's done welding. Let's see how tight the fitment is. Oh yeah, it's like you gave a shit, dude.
I gave
Damn,
two
look
shits.
at those nodes right there.
It's welded to the chassis behind the main hoop also. And then up here at the top of the A-pillars, it's welded to the chassis in the pockets. Like in here.
Dang, flossing. This is probably the nicest Fox Body cage ever. All the drag race dudes all do like super wonky stuff. So it's 1.5 095, minimalistic, as light as possible, because that is the goal with this car. Non-collapsible steering column of death is mounted.
Steering column of death. For real.
Get it? Get it?
Feels like it. Let's look. Looks like a well.
So we got the seat and column in. This is just a placeholder seat. The column has a little bit of wobble to it, you see here. So we're bending up a 1-inch tube there so that we can have another support bracket here. And that will smooth, strengthen this wheel here. You can see it's moving quite a bit because the steering shaft is pretty long for the positioning. Oh, we puked all over the floor. But yeah, it's pretty long considering its position. The wheel is pushed back about 4 inches too far right now too, so we're gonna change that as well. But cage is 100% finished, and foot intrusion bars are there and everything, so it's coming along. So now that the cage is done, and Travis did a phenomenal job on it, I'm pretty pumped on it. The next step is the fuel cell, and then also the suspension. So the fuel cell is going to be a radium setup. I'm pretty excited about that because it'll be pretty large, so we can do some street driving with it, put some miles on it, and also like not have to bring a ton of fuel to the track every time when I drive it. Obviously, we're building this car out for weight distribution, but also it's important for me, at least, to be able to have easy serviceability and something that lasts a long time. So it'll be multiple pumps, big cell. When I say big, it's a 15 gallon. And then the suspension stuff, BC stuff arrives tomorrow. So hopefully I can get that on this week. And start setting it up with our QA1 subframe and our Scotty D front steering kit. I went with the QA1 subframe simply just because it's very, very light, very simple, and I figure I can always modify it and change the geometry if I want anyway. So yeah, we'll go a little more detail of that and the fuel system, and we're slowly just going to keep piecing this thing together and do our best to keep it as light as possible, as off the shelf as possible, and hopefully move forward into something that is really fun to drive. So, you know, the normal deal. If you're super pumped on it, give it a thumbs up. If we need improvement, give it a thumbs down. Comment, let us know what you think. And let me know your thoughts on this whole EcoBoost thing and the weight distribution and the reasoning behind all the things we're doing on this build. I'm curious to see if I'm just crazy or if there's something that intrigues you guys.